The idea of kids ingesting cannabis is highly stigmatized. People feel even more strongly about kids getting high.
This is a multifaceted conversation because we're talking about science mixed with politics, mixed with moralism.
Come on, sweetheart. It's okay.
But many parents with kids suffering from epilepsy seek cannabis as a last resort.
This is going to be for a child. I'm going to substitute medication for this medication. It's got to be just as strong, just as reliable, and as clean.
And so what dose is the ideal dose for the child? And what is the psychoactive effect that we're willing to tolerate in order to stop the seizures? We have to look at the balance of what is worse and what is better for that child. It's a highly individualized discussion.
Valerie was born in the fall of 2008. She was a fun-loving girl who loved to make her friends and family laugh. On September 4th, 2014, Valerie had her first seizure, and her life changed forever. She was later diagnosed with epilepsy.
When Valerie got sick, I could see immediately changes in her as soon as they started putting her on medication. It was changes we didn't like. She stopped eating. She had nightmares. She woke up 3 or 4 times a night crying. She didn't want to have anything to do with school. When we could get her to eat, she would throw that back up most of the time. The doctors did several different medication changes. The seizures continued to get worse and worse. We would get a little bit of stabilization from a medication, and then she would start getting the side effects of the medication that they say people aren't going to get.
We have a number of seizure drugs provided by the pharmaceutical industry that have various benefits. But along with that are also a large number of side effects and toxicity profiles related to those pharmaceutical approaches.
One of the medications they put her on, she woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and her body was covered from head to toe in a rash. She was having a hard time breathing, and she was seizing over and over and over again. We had 15 seizures in a row. When we got to the doctor's office, she had 2 seizures in clinic back to back.
In my experience, most parents have already tried just about all the combinations available in the pharmaceutical approach to treating seizures, and they've all failed, or they've produced intolerable side effects on their children. And so now they're looking at cannabis as maybe a last alternative.
I couldn't stand seeing one more day of her throw up the food we fed her, or not want to play with anybody, or just lay in bed and refuse to get up. Basically refusing life. It's something that's natural. We can try it, and it's either going to work or it's not, but what have we lost? So we decided to go for it.
To address the issue of seizures, we do need to look at the many reports that says if you take purely a high CBD, there are some percentage of seizure patients that experience improvement.
It's unknown exactly what's occurring in the brain to prevent these seizures. To understand what may be happening, we need to understand how the seizing brain works. We need a balance of excitatory neurons and inhibitory neurons. When this balance is upset, it creates a differential in tone. When there's more excitatory tone than inhibitory tone, your excitatory neurons can be less well controlled. If you accentuate the excitatory tone, you're going to be more prone to seizures. It's believed that CBD is balancing this tone by adding agonists to the CB1 receptor, bringing balance to the brain activity. There are no current drugs on the market that work on the same mechanism.
After 2 days of being on the cannabis oil, she stopped telling me her head hurt. She stopped having an upset stomach. She was eating not only just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but requesting snacks quite frequently. Basically starting to become Valerie again.
We know that using those products on children does reduce seizure activity and seizure frequency. We just don't yet know how does it really do against other high CBD but slightly higher THC products that may cause some psychoactive effects at a big enough dose.
Unlike the majority of the patients in the media using cannabis to treat their epilepsy, Valerie's gotten the best results from using high THC oil.
We went our first 45-day spent with no seizures. You can feel really great about what you're doing when you see your kid starting to be normal again and be happy and be healthy and, most importantly, seizure-free.
I like taking cannabis oil. When I wake up, I have to take it, and at night, I have to take it. I take a bath with bath salt that has cannabis oil. Then I put cannabis oil on me. It makes me feel a little bit better. It helps my tummy feel better. It makes my head feel better. I like it better now because I don't like the pill med.